Welcome to the Legacy broadcast today, an extension of the Sammy Tippit Ministries to the world, literally to the world. And we are just so grateful to have the opportunity to be with you today. And I'm David Walker, and this is my wife, Shirley. And we have as our guests today Sammy and Tex Tippit, and it's our privilege to get to share this time with you two today.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and what we're wanting to do today is to just step right back into some more discussion that's coming from the Praying for Your Family book that you have just completed, Sammy. It's being made available to the viewers and to those involved with your ministry. Praying for Your Family and Eternal Legacy, and there is a book and a DVD and a study guide that goes with it.
That's right.
And we're coming in at the point of strongholds, praying down strongholds, and bring us up to speed. Anything you'd like to do to set us up?
First, let me just say we're really excited about it because it's just really gotten out here recently, and the initial reports we're getting back is it's doing what we had hoped that it would do, and that is help some families. Yeah. We're getting some reports that the Lord is working and touching lives and so forth. But this chapter that we're dealing with today is tearing down strongholds. And David, you'd probably be interested in this. That what I found is that a lot of pastors have told me, the ones that have heard me or read through the material, have told me that this is the one that they really. It just rings a bell with them, because there's a lot of people. I think we all come into life with baggage. Yeah. We're born with the old nature, and that old nature is expressed in everybody in different ways. We all have a bent towards sin, but it's and each one of us is bent towards a different kind of sin that maybe have been passed down from our forefathers, and so we come in with that, and then we're influenced by the world around us, and then we make bad choices. Hey, every one of us, starting right here with me, have that, and Satan is able to build up strongholds. And so
it's interesting that it's not the perspective is that it's not just an individual stronghold, but it could be a stronghold in a family, in a family line. It's interesting.
Yeah, and you hear that saying. Oh, he's just like his daddy.
Yeah, or his mom.
Right. But then normally it's not a good thing when they're saying that. So
that's not true.
But because when you hear that, just kind of out in the public, they're normally talking about this guy's doing something. Well, his daddy was like that, or his mother was like that. And so what I've tried to identify in this chapter is that there's 3 ways in which strongholds are built up in our lives.
First, define for us what a stronghold is.
Good. I did a study on this, and as I was working on the book and so forth, but I took it from 2 Corinthians, where it says that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through the Holy Spirit to the pulling down of strongholds. Are one word used as fortresses, and in the Greek language, in the Sicilian islands there. Pirates would go and they would build up these fortresses, these forts, and they would launch out of those islands onto the seas to go and plunder and rob and steal. And then they would come back and they had these fortresses where they took whatever they had robbed and stolen. So that was the place from which they launched their attacks on people. So and that's the same word that is used in the Greek language that was back there during that time, culturally, contextually. So what I saw in that was that Satan, who is the great pirate, he's a thief who comes to steal and kill and destroy, but he launches his attacks on us through these strongholds that he has built up in our lives, or these fortresses, and they are what I call patterns of life. Ways of thinking, because it talks about pulling down and standing against any thought pattern that is contrary to the knowledge of God. So these are patterns of thought that come from birth, come from the world, and come from decisions that we make as adults. So those patterns of life are there. Now, when Christ comes in our hearts, the big debatable question is, can a Christian be demon possessed or not, and so forth. And Satan's kicked out, okay? Satan is kicked out. Christ is in control. However, if there's a fortress there, he can come and rob and steal. If there's a pattern of thought that's been built up over years, all the way from birth, then that way of thinking was built up over years, and it has to be torn down over years, brick by brick, thought by thought, pattern by pattern, and it has to be torn down. So, did I answer your question?
You did, very
Okay.
much so.
But what I saw was that there are three ways in which strongholds are built. The first way, every single person has, and that is from birth. That's the things that you were asking about, Dave, about from family lines.
Ways of thinking.
Ways
Yeah,
of
that's
thinking.
what you think.
Let me give you an example. Okay.
Yeah.
For many years, I'd wake up, my first thoughts were negative, critical spirited. And there's a difference. I'm a very analytical anyway person. It's different in being analytical and being critical spirited. My thoughts would be critical spirited thoughts. And, man, this guy's going to, like this negative thinking towards people, towards myself. And I realized that, and I love my mother and wonderful woman, took care of me, but she always negative things said about us kids. And I was born with that negative pattern already.
Into that influence. You're
Right.
born into that setting.
And I grew up with that in me. Now, when I became a Christian, for years I didn't know how to deal with it. But many years ago, the Lord just began to speak to my heart, my quiet time. Sammy, you need to think on things that are good and holy and positive and of good report. And I'm not talking about the power of positive thinking. I'm talking about bringing garbage thoughts into captivity to the obedience of Christ. So I was born with this negative way of thinking inside me. And so what I had to do was learn every day when I wake up, say, I choose against a negative way of thinking. Jesus, I bring every thought, my thought patterns, under the obedience of you, and let me see things through your eyes. The goodness, the greatness, the love, the mercy. Let me view life today through your eyes. And every day as I did that, and the more I did that, step by step, brick by brick, I was tearing down a stronghold.
But what you're saying is, or let me ask you if you are saying this, that it isn't just the power of a negative thought, but Satan or an evil spirit can actually be working to engender that, to stoke that, to push that.
He has a place to come.
Yeah.
He has a place
Because it's
to
a
come.
spiritual battle.
That's right. We're in a spiritual warfare. And no, yes, Christ is in me. The Holy Spirit is in me. But he has a place where he can operate, go in and out of, and operate.